In this video, we're going to discuss solving multi-step equations with fractions. And the steps are almost the same as solving a multi-step equation in general. So the first step is to apply the distributive property. In order to do that, the first thing is we would need to distribute this -5, so we're going to put that over a 1 to turn it into a fraction. And then when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across the numerator, straight across the denominator. So -5 times 9 is -45. 1 times 4 is 4. Leave the x. -5 times -7 is a positive 35. 1 times 2 is 2, and that's equal to 295 over 4. Next step is a little bit different. We have to find a common denominator. So think back to elementary school. If we have a 4, a 2, and a 4, we need to find the biggest number, or the lowest common denominator. So we need to find the smallest number, of which 4, 2, and 4 are factors. And for us, for this problem, that's going to be a 4. So we change everything into fourths. The -45 can stay. We don't have to change anything. The 295 can stay. And then we do need to change this one into fourths. So 2 times 2 gives us 4. 35 times 2 is 70. So 35 over 2 is equivalent to 70 fourths. Step 3 is to multiply through by the common denominator to clear out the fractions. So after step 3, we no longer have fractions to deal with. So I can take -45 over 4 times x plus 70 over 4 is equal to 295 over 4, and I can multiply through by 4. And what that does is it takes this division and it cancels out all the division by using multiplication. So I have left 45x plus 70 is equal to 295, no longer any fractions. Next, we would combine any like terms on the same side of the equals. We don't have any in this case. And then we would move all the variables to one side, usually to the left. All the x's are already on the left, so I don't have to do anything in that step. Step 4 would be this should be step, my numbers are all weird. I didn't even notice that. 1, 2, 3, 4, this should be 5, this should be 6. Step 6 is to move all constants to the other side, and we do need to work on this. So we have -45x plus 70 is equal to 295, a nice two-step equation. Requires subtraction property of equality. I'm going to subtract a 70 from both sides. These two will cancel, so I'm left with -45x is equal to 225. And then step 7 is to solve the resulting one or two-step equation. In this case, it's a one-step. So -45x is equal to 225. Divide both sides by 45, -45. And when I do that, I end up with x is equal to -5. Two more examples to walk through relatively quickly here. Hopefully these will be short notes for you tonight. So first step again, use distributive property, -3 over 1. I could put 1 over 1. 3 times -18 is a -54. 1 times 5 is 5, and I keep the a the same. 3 times 1 is 3. We're adding that. 1 times 1 is 1. Nothing to distribute outside the parentheses, so we have -10 or -10 over 3a. It's equal to 787 over 15. Again, we look for that common denominator. I have a 5, a 1, a 3, and a 15, so my lowest common denominator is 15, since 5, 1, 3, and 15 are all factors of 15. So everything is going to be changed into 15ths. 787 is going to stay the same. That's already in 15ths. 5 times 3 gives me 15, so 54 times 3 is 162, and it's still a negative. 1 times 15 is 15, so 3 times 15 is 45. 3 times 5 is 15, so 10 times 5 is 50. So now I have a common denominator of 15. I can multiply through by 15. And when I do that, I'm left with -162a plus 45 minus 50a is equal to 787. So again, I've gotten rid of all of that division by using multiplication. All right, now I can combine my like terms right here and right here. So those two together, we have a total of negative 212a plus 45 is equal to 787. Two-step equation at this point, I can subtract 45 from both sides. And when I do that, I'm left with negative 212a is equal to 787 minus 45 for subtraction property of equality, and that's going to give me 742. Down to a one-step equation left. I'm going to come over here and finish it up. I have negative 212a is equal to 742. Divide by negative 212 on both sides. And 742 divided by 212 gives me a is equal to negative 3.5. Last example, starting the same with distributive property, 7 times negative 15, and I like to group that negative with the numerator, so 7 times 15 is going to be a negative 105. 3 times 4 is 12, and you keep the x, plus 7 times 4 is 28. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 3 is 9. I said 9 and wrote 3. And then I have 1,939 over 36. Next step, find that common denominator. 12 and 9 are both factors of 36, so I can use 36 as my common denominator. Keeping 1,939 the same, since it's already in 36. 12 times 3 is 36, so 105 times 3 is 315, and we want to make sure we don't forget to bring down the negative. 9 times 4 is 36, so 28 times 4 gives us 112, and that's positive. I can multiply through by 36 to get rid of the fractions. So we have negative 315x plus 112 is equal to 1,939. A two-step equation, so I can subtract a 112, subtraction property of equality. I've got negative 315x is equal to 1,939 minus 112. It's 1,827. Giving myself some more space over here. So I have negative 315x is equal to 1,827. Division property of equality, divide both sides by negative 315. And when I do that, I end up with x is equal to 1,829 divided by 315. Let's see here. Just double checking my work. 1,829 divided by 315. I think there's probably a mistake. You guys probably already caught it. But just to double check, I can check where I'd worked this out previously. $1,820. Oh, it's a copy error. I went from a 7 to a 9. I'm sure you guys already caught that right there. So I've got 1,827 divided by 315 gives me a negative 5.8, which is what I was looking for. Hopefully this kind of helps you work with equations using fractions. Remember the two big things here. You want to make sure you find a common denominator first and then multiply through by that common denominator in order to clear out all your fractions. Thank you, have a good night, and I'll see you in class tomorrow.